All right, let's check this one out. This one says, before we had modern refrigerators, people in Russia and Finland had a unique way to keep their milk fresh. They would put live brown frogs into the milk. This might sound strange, but it actually worked. The frogs helped keep the milk safe to drink for a longer time. So let's see if this is true or false or exaggerated or whatever. The whole range of things, right? We don't really need that frog in the picture here. We just really need that text. Gonna hop straight to AI mode. And what do we get? Yes, the claim that people in Russia and Finland use brown frogs to keep milk fresh is supported by scientific research. And we can, click here. Scientists look for new drugs in skin of Russian frogs from NPR. Before the invention of modern refrigeration, people did this, apparently. They had observed that milk stayed fresh longer when a frog was placed in the container. I got to highlight that. They had observed that milk stayed fresh longer. Well, I'm just laughing because okay, you observe that, but like how does that happen enough that you're able to start making that observation? There's a missing link here as far as how this discovery came about. The science of this folk remedy was later confirmed. They found the skin of the brown frog secretes powerful antimicrobial peptides. These compounds act as antibiotics and antifungals, which would cause the milk to spoil. Some of these peptides were found to be as effective as prescription antibiotics. Well, that sounds nice. That sounds exciting. So one of the things that I've been thinking about is I have really three moves, and it's get it in, right? Track it down, follow up. But lately I've been thinking that maybe there's a fourth move, and I'm not sure here. But I'm thinking the fourth move is sort of reflected back, right? Like, at least in the classroom. I don't know if this is generally for people out in the world, but I'm reading this, and one of the things I find a lot when I look at AI answers is just they do create this illusion of knowledge. So I'm like, oh, the antimicrobial peptides, yes, and so let's dive in. Let's dive in and get. This isn't necessarily the reflected back piece, but let's dive in and ask about those peptides. How these peptides are antimicrobial. How do they work? All right, let's see. So this is not the reflected back. This is just we're doing the investigation. Oh, something went wrong. Just got to roll with it. Oh, all right, here we go. Targeting and disrupting the cell membranes of bacteria, fungi, and other pathogens, like traditional antibiotics that target internal cellular processes, this physical mechanism of action makes it hard for microorganisms to develop resistance. So antimicrobial peptides found in frog skin target the cell membranes, of bacteria. The process involves two main steps. They bind their positively charged cationic. I guess that's ion, right? Cationic. With amphibopathic properties, which means they're both water repelling and water attracting regions. Even as I look at this, I'm like, I'm realizing I don't fully understand this. But if I was reading this quickly, I'd be like, oh, well, of course, they're amphipathic. The positive charge is attracted to the negatively charged outer membranes, allowing the peptides to bind to them. Okay, so walking through this, they're positively charged. That's one of the pieces of it. The membrane of the bacterial cells is negatively charged. That allows the peptides to bind to them. I don't fully understand the hydrophobic, hydrophilic piece of it. Once a critical concentration of peptides is reached on the membrane surface, they begin to penetrate the membrane. So they attach because they have different charge, and then they are able to penetrate the membrane because they attach and then they penetrate. And there's a couple models. One's the barrel stave model. They align and insert themselves into the membrane, forming a pore that allows the cell's internal contents to leak out, which leads to cell death. All right. Kind of makes sense. They kind of make a pore, a channel, and the internals of the cell leak out. They insert at the angle. This is the toroidal pore, causing the membrane to curve inward. And then they create a channel again for the contents to escape. In the carpet, they just sort of destabilize the membrane, I guess. They can also interfere with intercellular functions like DNA and protein synthesis or inhibit enzymes. All right. So this is the reflected back piece that I'm getting to. Thanks for staying with me there as I read all of that. I'm just going to say quiz me on this and see what happens. And just the idea is, okay, I just looked at this. There's sort of this illusion of knowledge. There's sort of this sense of fluidity that's false. Can we get it to, all right, that's one question. So here's a quiz question about the antimicrobial peptides. What is the primary mechanism by which the antimicrobial peptides kill bacteria? So it wasn't this protective layer. It was targeting and disrupting the cell's membranes, I think, primarily. I think it was this, targeting and disrupting the cell's membranes where all that stuff leaks out. And I think there was a secondary thing that sometimes they do bind to the bacteria's DNA and prevent them from functioning. But I think this was the major one. So let's do B. See if we're right. Thinking. Is it going to understand I was answering that question? All right. All right. Now let's see if it understands. Don't just ask me any question. Ask me a question about the peptides. Sometimes it can be a little dumb around that. Okay. What property of the antimicrobial peptides allows them to selectively bind to the negatively charged outer membranes? I think it's their positive charge. It's that cationic. Was that it? I think we're going to get it. Let's see. Again, so part of it, I'm just wondering, maybe it is get it in, maybe for at least for the classroom, it's get it in, track it down, follow up, reflect it back, maybe? I don't know. I'm just sort of thinking. All right, give me a third question. I kind of realize I don't know what peptides, like I know a bit about them now, but I actually don't know what they are more generally. I should probably look into that. Was one advantage of microbial peptides disrupting the cell membrane? I think they said it's mechanical, so it's harder to defend against. I don't know. Isn't everything mechanical at some level? It's mechanical, so it's harder to defend against than I don't know if I mean, look at this answer closely and let me know if it is too vague. All right, let's see. Oh, Mechanical is a good. I did it. I demonstrated a solid understanding of material, and I really only the sliver. Like I should go more towards it. But I wonder if you build a habit just of doing a little bit of this after you find out something. Just a few questions. Again, I'm not trying to master like the chemistry of peptides. But if that might be a piece of this, right? If that could be something we could remind students to do. So anyway, let's call that a video, and I'll think a little more on this issue.